So we have an energy boom in this country. Some projections show that North America could be energy independent by 2020, and already most of the oil in the Middle East goes to Asia. So is there really a reason for the U.S. to keep such a large military presence, involved to regions like the Middle East?
The first thing, Steve, is that there are tremendous advantages to the energy boom: jobs, greater industrial competitiveness, better security of where a lot of our oil comes from. But in this report that General Hagee and I just published today, we show that the national security effects are not quite as simple as some people think. Because oil is a global market, because the price is set by overall world supply and demand, because the United States transportation sector is over 90% dependent on oil, that means that what happens in the Middle East as a producer, what happens in China as a producer, affects the American economy. And so we have to remain engaged in the world, not only for oil purposes, but of course for many other purposes.
Do you think we'll have to be just as engaged as we are now?
I believe that we should be engaged. Maybe there are several elements of national power. There's a military element, political element, economic element. Maybe the balance of those elements should change, and that's what we argue in the report here, that the diplomacy, the diplomatic power that we have should be helping to establish policy, and militaries there supporting, but not leading with the military, leading with our diplomatic power. I would like to go back to your first question just a moment. You talked about energy independence. Denny addressed the second part of your question. Really, the first part is I'm from Texas, and there are people down there who believe that because of the Eagle Ford Shale area that we will be energy independent. What the facts tend to show is that is in fact not true. At least out to the next 15, 20 years, we are going to still be dependent on some foreign oil, and as Admiral Blair said, it is in fact a global market, so we do in fact need to be engaged.
Right.
I think that's one thing that's true though, Steve, is that it is a fact that other countries will be more dependent than we are, and we need to find a way, particularly in dealing with areas like the Middle East with all the potential for stability, to involve those other countries, for them to bear some of the proportionate share of the responsibility for more resilient markets, safer markets. It shouldn't be the United States, especially the United States Armed Forces, being the ones who are doing the heavy lifting out there. So we're arguing for a more balanced policy.